Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Occupy Democrats show. My name is Mark Bland.
And I am Jason Cole.
And we are hailing from the great city of St. Louis, Missouri, and worldwide to you across all the platforms, TikTok, Instagrams, the YouTubes, all of it. Welcome to the Occupy Democrats show. Jason.
Yes.
We have a lot to get to.
We do.
In just the last 2 days alone,
stuff everywhere.
A ton has happened. But one thing that I want to bring up, and also Metro, there should have been a graphic for a tweet from Occupy Democrats about this that you can play after the video. But the first thing that we want to show you all is that our deportation issues and the idea of habeas corpus being maintained in the United States of America is once again under attack and being thrown in your face. Check out this video from this morning in Alabama. Check this out. These are men being arrested by ICE agents.
Hey, that's illegal.
Man, sit out.
No, fuck that, dude. And he's not even doing nothing wrong. It takes, what the fuck?
They're obviously at a work site, Jason.
Yes.
You can see it. So they were at work.
He's a citizen, bro.
If you're a citizen,
He's a
they're
fucking
supposed to be doing
citizen.
that. If you're a citizen, they can
Yeah,
get
he's
sued.
saying I'm a citizen. What the fuck?
I hope he got his shit on him.
There it is, guys. Once again.
Then I'm gonna get that man this.
Once again, Jason.
You know, I understand it's just him saying it, but maybe at that point you back off, let him sit, get a ID from him maybe. Maybe don't continue to rough him up, continue to throw him around.
I think what's really crazy every single time, and that is not even on the screen. I can't read the top of that, but that's okay. This is a tweet that was put up by Occupy Democrats, specifically ICE wrestling the young Alabama construction worker to the ground as he begs and shouts, "I am a U.S. citizen." He was then dragged off to a detention center and detained for hours until he was finally allowed to prove that he is, in fact, a U.S. citizen. The construction site in Foley, Alabama was forced to shut down, Jason. This could have happened to any of us. How the heck does allowing ICE to drag innocent Americans off of the streets make America great in any way possible?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. But I think that that's a great point there. Like, you made the point before we even put up the graphic and talked about it. What's the problem with stepping back for a second to just be a human being and ask another human being, what's your, like, who are you? Give me some information about you. I want to talk to you. Or, hey, we need to talk to these guys off your site. Do you mind if we talk to them? And then have their foreman go get them and bring them over to you. What is this chasing them down like they're going to run? Like, they didn't run.
It's this new form of law enforcement that's taken over his second term. You know, both of us we're law enforcement supporters.
Yeah, of course.
Totally. I don't wear back the blue shirts or put flags in front of my house.
You wear blue hats.
I do wear a blue hat.
Because blue
so
lives
I'm supporting
matter.
you. Yes. I'm supporting you. But that
blue
stuff,
hats matter.
That stuff is problematic. When you do that stuff, it highlights what everyone thinks about you. It backs up what they think inside.
Exactly, right? You have this, this kind of goes back to the Mike Brown days. When I just said blue lives matter, it goes back to that idea of poking the bear. This idea of just doing something for the fact that you need to do something. And then there's this general malaise that mainstream culture has about you within society, right? When the police show up and you didn't call them, that's always a bad thing. That's always them looking to take you out. That's them looking to take you down. They could be up to no good, and you're going to be their target. That's already in most people's minds anyway, half the time. So by playing on that because Donald Trump said, go run these people down, you just look like a jerk. And I'm not knocking people doing their jobs. I'm just saying, like, we don't need to run people down like this in this country. Like, it's not necessary. You can just bring people to the side and talk to them. And in most cases, like, if they're going to run, they'll run.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if a guy's bad, a guy's bad. If they're going to run, they're going to run on their own. They're going to choose to run.
And, you know, I have zero problem with being forceful if someone is evading or running, but when you just stop and put your hands up and they come up and grab you and shake you up and throw you on the ground, it's like, you know, I'm complying. What is that they like to say when a black guy, when a black guy gets shot because he didn't do anything at all.
He never complied.
Yeah, he didn't comply. Well, that guy was complying, and he still got roughed up a little bit.
Which I always found funny, right?
Yeah.
I always found it funny, and this is not a knock on law enforcement at all, but this is if you ever watch videos of things that go down where police end up pulling their firearm and shooting somebody, if you've ever noticed, half the time they'll shoot the person. Now, this person just got lit up with 6 or 7 bullets. So they're like dealing with bullets like ripping through their body and stuff. Then they start screaming at him, put the gun down. And it's like, no, you just shot me 7 times. I'm really having a problem breathing right now, worrying about my fingers and if they will pull a gun trigger. Not on my mind. I literally can't breathe.
My hand is locked.
I'm locked.
I can't drop
I might
this
have
gun.
already dropped the gun. Actually, my hand might be just shaking at this point. I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, I've watched enough videos where that goes down and then the police are screaming at them, comply, put your hands up, put the gun down, whatever. And it's like, you don't need to do that after you shoot them.
You know what?
Once you've shot them, in most cases, at least the amount of times I see the shootings going on, like that's a lot of times.
But these reasons are why we need the best of the best to be law enforcement.
Right. We do need the best of the best.
Because when they show up to a scene, they're people. They've had a day. They've met people already. We can't have you grabbing American citizens and throwing them on the ground and stepping on them and everything else that you're doing.
At the same point, we're not knocking law enforcement for doing their job at all. We love law enforcement. We love the fact that, when there is an emergency or things need to have help around it, like, hey, even at concerts, whenever they're out there helping with traffic and talking to the people and just protecting everybody, we love that. That's one of the things that makes America great, right? We all have these guns, right, that we're all allowed to have because of the Second Amendment. And we have them all at our houses, right, on our mantles, ready to go for the next Civil War. That's never going to happen because it's going to take a liberal president who's going to be a fascist and destroy the country financially and every other way. That's the only time a civil war will break out, except for it seems like we're within range of people wanting to get rid of this administration currently, ladies and gentlemen.
It's funny, though. We're talking about guns. Since 1994, when they did the assault weapons ban and then got upended in 2004, there's only been one president that's ever put any restriction on firearms, and that's Donald Trump.
Not totally true.
The bump stocks.
Not totally true. Bill Clinton.
That's the 1994 assault weapons ban.
He did the assault weapons ban.
I said since him.
Oh, you said since him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Since that.
That's my fault.
Since that, in 2004, Bush let it expire.
Sure, yeah.
And since that time, only Trump. And he did the bump stocks, which the Supreme Court overturned that. So
Isn't
guess
that
what?
weird?
Now your semi-automatic can be an automatic. There you go.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. So Donald Trump, he helped you make your weapons
he tried
better.
He tried to stop it.
You still didn't get to go out and shoot a bunch of libs like you wanted to. You see what I'm saying? Like it didn't work out for you because none of that ever happened. You fantasized about it every weekend with your buddies and your other gravy seals, but that never turned into anything. And then the guy with the drone operator, he just kind of took all of you guys out at once. You were in a nice little cluster in the middle of the field where you talked all your big game, and then the drone guy just took you out. And that's how war in 2025 is handled.
Why is it it's always the most patriotic that always talk about taking on the government?
Yeah.
Right.
This goes back, Jason, to one of my most famous discussions I've ever had on any of my shows. The idea that conspiracy theorists and people who are into conspiracy theorists are technically against the United States government. Because think about this, and we've talked about this, Jason, before on our show. No conspiracy theory is ever based off of the idea that the government is doing something good on behalf of the people. It's always the government is doing something bad on behalf of themselves against the people. So who do we have to be against? The United States government, which makes us not necessarily patriots of the United States government. Now, does it, conspiracy theorists? No, it doesn't, because you said those people are the illegal deep state bad people that you need to take down, except for when a Republican's president, then it's not the deep state anymore. We're back to it's normal. This is the way normal is.
And right now in the comments, some MAGA guy's writing, it's not the government that we're for, it's the Constitution, except you just stand by and watch Donald Trump wipe his ass with it constantly. So don't give me your Constitution shit either. You're just a bad person. That's exactly what you are.
That's it. That's what it comes down to, being a bad person. Now, Jason, also, going on. We just had the South African president.
Yeah.
Ramaphosa was here.
Yeah, he got a talking to.
And he got a talking to. We talked about that on the last show. We
whatever reason.
Now, Metro, if you could throw up this little video here about Trump and the South African president, I would like people to take a look. Because we got to talk about
a video that he said showed more than 1,000 burial sites of white South Africans that he said were murdered. We know that was not true and that the video wasn't showing that. So I wonder, why did the president choose to show that? What's not true, Yamiche? It's not true that the video was showing a burial site. It is unsubstantiated that that's the case.
No, it is true that video showed the crosses that represent.
Which is what the president claimed.
The video showed images of crosses in South Africa about white farmers who have been killed and politically persecuted because of the color of their skin. And those crosses are representing their lives. Those crosses are representing their lives in the fact that they are now dead and their government did nothing about it. Are you disputing that there's no...
The fact that the video showed what the president claimed it showed, because it did not show that. But even more, what I'm asking you is who at the White House...
No, it did show that. It showed white crosses representing people who have perished because of racial persecution.
Verify the videos that the president shows, and what protocols are in place when there's unsubstantiated information being put out for the world and world leaders to show?
Yamiche, what's unsubstantiated about the video? The video shows crosses that represent the dead bodies of people who were racially persecuted by their government. In fact, the Associated Press, of all places, has a picture of that very monument, and the caption from the Associated Press is, "Each cross marks a white farmer who has been killed in a farm murder." So it is substantiated, not just by that video and the physical evidence that everybody saw on display in the Oval Office, but also by another outlet in this room, the Associated Press. So you should take it up with them if you believe the claim is unsubstantiated, and that's a ridiculous line of question.
So, Jason.
Yes.
We have Carolyn Levitt sitting there, and she's berating this journalist who is trying to explain to him that since he had his little back and forth with Ramaphosa, it has come out that they found out that the videos and the information that they put out there was not truthful. It was based off of stuff from the Congo.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, where I understand where Carolyn... We've dealt with individuals like Carolyn in life, and just in life, all of you have before, right? These are what we call literal people, okay? What she sees is, what are you saying? Are you saying that TV doesn't have a television screen and it didn't show a picture, and on that picture it had pictures of crosses, and those crosses were supposed to represent these people, and you didn't see that on the same TV screen I saw it on? You're crazy. No.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. What they're saying is the physical information that Donald Trump supplied was incorrect. It wasn't showing those things. Yes, white farmers have been killed in the country of South Africa. Did I just say that live to the nation, Jason?
That's true.
I sure did. Here we are speaking to the world and putting out information that is correct. Was there video that they showed there of crosses at burial sites that they were trying to associate specifically with South Africa and white farmers being murdered there? Yes. But the video was from the Congo. That's not South Africa. That's a completely different place. And I get it for a bunch of people that are like, name all the countries in the United States. And you start, Idaho, Arkansas. Nope, I said countries, not states. Those are called states. Countries are physical countries. The Congo is a physical country in South Africa, or not in South Africa, in Africa.
Yeah.
Above South Africa, actually. But my point is simply this. If I should be so bold, Jay, might I ask you a question,
Yes.
sir? Donald Trump's the president of the United States of America, correct?
He is.
And that is supposed to be the most powerful man on earth, correct?
Yeah, that's what they say.
That's what they say. Okay. So if Donald Trump is the most powerful man on earth and he has like multiple intelligence agencies at his disposal that can give him all the information he wants. In fact, Donald Trump could go to Kash Patel at the FBI right now and say, hey, listen, I want to find out, can you send 2 people over to South Africa on one of our flights or whatever like that? Get them over there. I wanted them to take video footage and I want them to go investigate what we're talking about and bring us back information. Now, same multiple intelligence agencies have drones flying all over the country and the world at all times. They're taking pictures of the Earth from Google satellites and everything else a million times a day, like from everywhere. Zoomed in from like literally 1,000 miles away down to an ant in any country on this earth. You're telling me the best this man could do was a YouTube video and then some printed off pictures that was off a dot matrix printer that he threw into the guy's lap and shoved at him? Like, what are we doing if our intelligence agencies can't provide accurate intelligence for the president of the United States? And by the way, if it was intelligence from the intelligence community for the president of the United States, they would step up and say it was from them. They would step up and say it wasn't some stupid YouTube video that we just played and some stuff that we printed off from his computer with a laptop in the Oval Office. Do you understand? This is nuts.
But, being accurate wasn't the point of what he did. What he wanted to do was get that out there and then
I need a drink.
Change the narrative. Put that out there that these are mass burial sites. Then when everyone goes, no, they're not, go, oh, but weren't they crosses? And pretend that's what you meant. That's why she conveniently didn't answer her question.
Ever.
She kept answering a question that she wanted to ask.
That's my point. Like, it's that literal aspect that you couldn't see this. And it's like, yeah, we all saw that. That's not what I'm asking you. Like, nobody's asking you that at all.
And she just kept going back to it. But that's the point. The point was to put up. They probably even know it's not accurate. They wanted you to get that out there, that there's burial sites. Because right now, today, all morning long at water coolers and job sites, there's about 10 people going, "You see all those mass graves?" They don't care about the end because Fox News is not carrying the April, I forget her last name, asking Karen Levitt that question. They're not ever.
We showed it to you.
They've not ever reported that is not accurate. They just left it alone. They just don't go back to it. They're not technically lying to you. They're just not talking about it anymore.
Yes, guys, we can't knock Fox News for the thing that you've all used in your life once or twice before. And Jason, you've done it. I've done it. Every human being on this earth has done it. The idea of holding information back. Holding information back is not lying. See, that's the problem. Well, if I just choose not to cover the story, that's not lying. Right. That's just choosing not to cover the story. That doesn't mean I lied about it. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. That doesn't mean anything. And that's why you're only getting certain things if you watch Fox News. By the way, we know. We know better than anybody else in the city of St. Louis. But really,
but Fox takes it a little step further because, like, you could say, like, let's say I had done something, but you never asked me if I had done it, and then you find out I did, and someone goes, "Hey, how come you didn't tell me that?" Well, you didn't ask.
Right.
But what Fox does and what Karen Levitt does is you have asked. They just answer a question that they want to answer.
Exactly.
So it's not so much that they hold it back. When they finally get exposed, they just change the narrative.
Now,
just pretend like you're crazy.
After we have this back and forth, do we throw it to the 7-year-old to ask if he's a Christian? What kind of religion, like what religion he's in? The guy who never, ever goes to church?
Ever.
This Sunday, he won't be at church.
In fact, the only time
would he even show up for Memorial Day to put wreath? Like, unless they forced him, unless they forced him to.
Oh yeah, no, he's not going.
Would
to the
he
unknown.
show up?
No.
To put wreaths on graves?
No, he's not going to the unknown soldier tomb unless they make him or tell him he has to.
I mean, I just find that wild, guys.
Yeah, they. But in fact, the only time Trump has been in a church lately is at funerals.
Yeah, we talked about that.
He's not going on Sunday.
Weddings and funerals, that's it.
Yeah, he's not coming out of a church. There's never video, anything of him walking out of a church on Sunday. Ever. Unless church is the 9th hole at Mar-a-Lago.
So, I got it down here a little bit deeper, but it just popped into my head. And we'll talk about it in a little bit. It's this situation with Harvard.
Yeah, they're hanging tough.
We'll get to it in a little bit. Let's do something else first. Let's do a couple other things first because I think this is going to lead down these roads anyway.
Yeah.
Metro, if you could put up that tweet about Apple for me, because I want everyone to see this. This is from Donald Trump off Truth Social. I have long ago informed Tim Cook of Apple that I expect their iPhones will be sold in the United States of America, will be manufactured and built in the United States, not India or any place else. If that is not the case, a tariff of at least 25% must be paid to Apple or by Apple to the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, the minute he announced this, Jason, he also decided to announce that he wants to take some shots at the European Union.
Yeah, he's going to throw some stuff their way, too.
He's going to put like 50%
50 on you guys.
Yeah. Now, here's what's great, guys, and we can talk about this. And this is why it brought in my mind up the Harvard thing, and we'll get to that when we get to the Harvard thing. But before that, let's talk about this. In the last month alone, we've tried the tariffs. And those tariffs didn't work, Jason.
They didn't. You know, I just got my handy stock app.
Uh-huh.
We're down 256 today because of that stupid stunt he pulled this morning.
Wait, 256 points on the Dow? It lost that?
Yeah. Just
what an amazing businessman.
Right? That's the art of the deal.
The art of the deal.
I say dumb shit in the morning and everyone loses money.
Guys,
Deal.
this is crazy. Like, I know I say this is wild and crazy a lot on the show. Everything. Do you remember when Joe Biden was president? You remember when you remember when you would, you remember when you would get up,
right?
And then like a whole week would go by, there might be one story, maybe two. Could be the infrastructure bills getting held up by Mike Johnson or whoever it was at the time, the Speaker of the House.
I didn't wake up with a panic attack.
Kevin McCarthy. It was Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah, he was around then.
72 votes, and he still couldn't get them to be on his side.
Come on, guys, vote me in.
Then the minute he got kicked out, he goes, I hated all those guys. I've always been a liberal, basically. It's
I'm
like,
back
what?
to California.
You're a liar. You're like
Right.
Ann Coulter and the rest of them. You're an
He's
idiot.
the
Like,
worst.
just nobody cares.
Shell of a man.
Now, this is important because he takes a shot at the European Union also.
Yep.
We can talk about, first off, can you tariff companies?
Right.
Do you tariff products? Is that how it works?
Basically, he's got the tariff India.
Like
again.
you're just gonna make everybody's iPhone cost 25% more.
They're already $1,000.
And so now I'm an American voter who's a Republican, and I had an iPhone that I used to rip off things about how Donald Trump was awesome and those libtard trucks suck.
Yeah.
But
Soy
now
boy.
I can't afford that. I got to get my Android phone because it costs $1,300 for an iPhone. That's way more than I can afford.
It's going to be
and now I'm not benefiting at all, and my life's changed, and things are bad, and then the Dow takes a drop. Now, let's go one step further. We hit the European Union. Now, a few weeks ago, Jay, we tried Liberation Day. That was my birthday. Liberation Day. And on Liberation Day, ladies and gentlemen, we actually enacted the tariffs. We threw them out there. And what did it do?
It
crashed our stock market for 4 or 5 days straight. 400, 500, 600 points at a time, if you remember, Jason. You couldn't stop sending me screen caps while you were busy.
You know, he has started and stopped and then started and stopped and new dates for these tariffs that even Rockstar Games is like, holy shit, you're changing the date so much on this stuff. Like, they're like, we thought Grand Theft Auto 6 was coming and going so many times. Tariffs start, tariffs end, tariffs begin again. Now there's new ones. Now we're taking this away. It's fucking crazy.
It is crazy, Jason. The European Union. It's obvious the reason that he's taking this shot is because, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump cannot get Zelensky and Putin to stop. He can't make a call day one and get anything to stop. He can't make Putin, who doesn't give a crap about him, over on the other side of the pond to stop. So what does Zelensky got to do? Well, he's got no help from the U.S., we explained, because that's when Trump kicked him out and told him he wasn't going to help him. Now they've done their mineral deal. Yeah. Supposedly there's supposed to be something out of that, but we're not sure what. But then he still had to make the call the other day to try to stop the war again. And then he had to put out the tweet that said, hey, Russia, Putin, stop doing this. You got to stop.
Knock it off.
And then when that didn't work today, we announced tariffs.
Yep.
We don't enact them.
No. It's coming, though.
We just say it's going to happen. What does it immediately do? Plummets the stock market. It's obviously an indicator. Everybody can see it. Jason knows it. Mark knows it.
You know, the only good thing about this proposed 25% tariff
What is good about
on iPhones
extra money?
is that means in like 6 months, you're going to go to a Trump rally
No.
and there's going to be a bunch of dudes on track phones.
Well, that would be basically the Androids that I just brought up.
Well,
I see what you're saying, the track phone.
The pay-to-play ones, you know, the real bottom market
dude,
ones.
hey, listen, a track phone, I bet that saved a lot of drug deals. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
in the world.
yeah,
It probably
a
has
few
saved
kidnappings and some other stuff.
quite a few drug deals. Now, when I brought that European Union thing up, I can now start attacking NATO countries with this tariff. Do you understand? And the reason I'm attacking NATO countries is because who are they helping?
Yeah, they're helping.
They're helping
Scoundrels
Zelensky.
in Ukraine.
That's right. Those scoundrels in the Ukraine. They're not going to stop Putin at all. So it's just me attacking the allies more with more tariffs. And by the way, whenever he does this, like names a company like Apple by name and puts it out there, you know what that's saying, Jay?
Mm-hmm.
Pay me.
Yeah.
That's
right?
all that is.
I want a few phones.
Listen, you guys want that to be more, but it's not. It's literally just his dog whistle to Tim Cook and Apple to say, I want you to pay me more money, because a lot of liberals, the majority of the people in politics in the United States are moderate, independent, or liberals, not Republicans at all. They like to use Apple products. They like to use iPhones. They like to use things like that. So guess who I'm attacking also when I do that? I'm trying to attack those people, those blue cities that physically fund everything in all of our red states.
You know what? At least he called him Tim Cook.
Instead of Tim
Apple,
Apples.
yeah. He's making headway.
Timmy Apples.
Yeah, Tim Apple. Yeah, I got Tim Apple here. That's a dummy.
Taking a look at another unnecessary thing, because an entire school won't be as racist as he wants, Jason. That's right.
You know, that doesn't just get your crawl when they
He
won't be
attacks
racist.
everything he can about Harvard. So I need to let everybody take a look at this. This is where we're at with Harvard right now. Take a look.
Major escalation tonight in President Trump's battle with Harvard. Homeland Security now banning the university from enrolling foreign students. Thousands of students could be forced to transfer now or leave the country. Here's Mary Bruce.
Tonight, a dramatic escalation in the Trump administration's ongoing battle with Harvard. The Department of Homeland Security telling the university it can no longer enroll foreign students, and existing foreign students must transfer or lose their legal status. Adding, let this serve as a warning to all universities and academic institutions across the country. DHS accuses Harvard of perpetuating an unsafe campus environment that is hostile to Jewish students and employing racist diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Accusations Harvard denies. The move tonight leaving nearly 7,000 international students, a quarter of Harvard's student body, in limbo.
They're trying to punish a institution in the United States for not bending to its political will, and doing it by attacking international students.
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem saying Harvard now has 72 hours to comply with the administration's demands if they want to reverse the ban.
We've asked them for the backgrounds on students that attend their university, their criminal activity on campus, off of campus, any video or audio footage they have of this violent activity, and they have just simply not complied.
Harvard calls the ban unlawful, saying this retaliatory action threatens serious harm to the Harvard community and our country. Harvard is already suing the administration after it froze $2.2 billion in federal funding to the university, after Harvard refused to comply with the government's demands that they change their curriculum, admissions policies, and end all DEI programs. Now it's expected Harvard could challenge this.
So,
Yeah. You know, all of those students, those international students, they're going to Harvard, so they're not dumb. We might need them one day. We might need their help.
Elon Musk said that we needed them.
Right. Elon Musk didn't want Americans for his companies.
He wanted foreign people with the H-1B visas or
Yes.
whatever to get their opportunity, because for America to be the best that it possibly could be, it needed the brightest, and the brightest were not Americans that were born here. It was people from other countries coming here to learn. Now, let's take this one step further. I might propose something that's unique. I don't know how true this could be, but everything with Trump's about a retaliation. I'm mad about something. And he doesn't always say what he's mad about up front. Like we do the European Union tariffs today because we're mad about NATO and those countries helping Zelensky and not getting this war fixed, which was a campaign promise I made and I can't keep. And Susan Wiles and everybody behind the scenes keeps telling me I didn't keep my campaign promises, so I need to keep that. And so I need to do things like that. What about Barron? What about Barron Trump? College? Transcripts? Maybe he tried to get into Harvard. Maybe he tried to get into other Ivy League schools. Maybe he got told no.
What if this has to do with Obama?
What if he got told no?
Obama.
What if Obama was told no? What if it has to do with Obama?
Obama went to Harvard.
Obama went to Harvard?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Now, with that being stated, it would make sense that a person like this is just blindly enraged that other kids get into the school and his son doesn't. And so therefore I want to, now I'm not saying this is true. I am not putting this on the table and saying this happened.
Yeah.
This is actual truth. I'm just saying the idea of how Trump likes to move with retaliatory actions, Jason, it would totally make sense if he got a bunch of rejection letters from schools and this was Trump's way of going after them because they were mean to his son or somebody that he knew that was trying to get into that school. Or even, hey, J.D. Vance with his Yale background going, they suck at Harvard. Harvard blows. Nobody should like Harvard. It's the worst. But how? It's just the most popular named college in the country. That's it. That's all it is. There have been other schools that have had Palestinian and Jewish protests. There have been other colleges that were there have been other colleges that have had students that were coming there from other countries to learn where they had protests. And you could say it's a DEI this or a DEI that. But you're only attacking Harvard. You're only going after these Ivy League schools. And it would seem that only people with money try to get into Ivy League schools. Because, Jason, did you try to get into Harvard?
I did not.
I didn't try to get into Harvard. I did go to college. I got my master's degree. Like, we're smart dudes, but like...
You might not be far off because there's a reason why he goes after certain things. We know why he attacks the NFL all the time.
Yeah.
It's because he tried to buy the Buffalo Bills and was denied. So then he decided to destroy the USFL instead. But, this whole thing about Harvard and this anti-Semitism stuff, this is bullshit because I remember Charleston and I remember the MAGA hat, white polo, khaki guys with the tiki torches screaming, chanting, Jews will not replace us the day before they killed that woman with the car. That happened. They did that. They marched along the streets with MAGA hats. That is way worse than anything that's ever happened on the campus of Harvard.
Now, I do understand that there was a killing where two Jewish young people
in Washington, D.C.
were shot by someone screaming "Free Palestine."
Yes, they
and they were murdered. And listen, I don't care what side of that argument you're on, okay? Murder is not cool, period.
No.
Free Palestine, free Israel, free this, free that. I don't care. Killing on behalf of that out of the blue just because you're angry about it, not right. Because think about this. Jason, let me propose this for you. Let's say you lived in Thailand.
Okay.
And you were born in Thailand. You have a family in Thailand.
Sweet.
You have a son who's smart. And this son wants to go to Harvard. Yep. And he's worked his butt off for the last 18 years in Thailand. Mm-hmm. We go to school for 18 years here. So I don't know what Thailand's like in that regard. But
sure
goes to school, works their butt off, and gets the grades good enough so that they can get an entry into Harvard. And you're able to get them over there. But they graduate this year. And now Donald Trump, because these two people got killed over here, and Harvard had protests about this over here, and he doesn't like that people from other countries can come here and get a position with the school to be a student and become educated in some form or fashion. Now your son in Thailand is not allowed to go to Harvard anymore.
No.
And it has nothing to do with him. And by the way, you live in Thailand. You don't care what happens in the Middle East thousands of miles away from you. You're worried about just Vietnam and where you live down by your area in Southeast Asia. You're not even worried about the people in northern India. You don't care about the United States people. You're not worried about any of that. It's the United States making problems about this from a situation over in the Middle East over here.
Right. You just want to become a doctor.
It's about this college over here, and you're from Thailand way down here. And none of it connects other than you got good grades and want to go to Harvard. That's it. This dude is ruining America. It's clumsy, and it is unnecessary. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break here on the Occupy Democrat Show. When we come back, more fun with us. We've got some things to talk about. We'll be back after this.
And we're back. Thank you for coming back with us on the Occupy Democrat Show. I am still Jason Cole.
Yeah, I'm that guy right there. Yep. You can see my name.
That's still that guy.
It's down there.
So, Mark, Trump had an event the other day.
He did.
He did yesterday, as a matter of fact. The Trump crypto dinner. What is that, you ask?
Did you? No, I didn't ask. No, hold on.
Well, I'm not talking to them.
Did you go to the crypto dinner?
I did not. I was just a little bit off of being in the top 220.
You were off. You were
just a few
221,
like 1,000.
A few thousand
million,
positions off?
Dollars. I just didn't. I invested $0, so that didn't get me very high on those.
Yeah, that probably didn't get you far. Let's hear it.
But it was a private dinner held at one of his golf courses. This one in Sterling, Virginia. I think it's called the Trump National Golf Course. I'm stupid like that. But the dinner was for, as we said, the top 220 investors into this grift.
Would you be disappointed if you didn't get Mar-a-Lago as the location? Like after all the Mar-a-Lago talk,
I guess
now you did the meme coin thing, and you're like, I'm gonna be one of the people. I get to go to No, some random golf course in Virginia.
So I said, it was a grift. I misspoke. It is a Trump coin with a stupid $sign in front of it. It's $sign Trump. So
it's
dumb.
Everything for crypto has the $sign and then some stupid
name. Yeah. So it's grift meme coin that he conveniently started right before he was inaugurated a second time.
Sure.
So the top 25 investors, in addition to the dinner, they received access to an ultra exclusive VIP reception with Trump and a special VIP tour of said Trump golf course. So this event was promoted as the most exclusive invitation in the world.
This sounds fun.
Yeah, right. And a chance to hear Trump himself discuss the future of cryptocurrency, which I'm sure he made 0 sense when he started talking and looked like a kid who didn't study like he always does.
Nobody wants your stupid coin. Nobody in America wants your dumb Trump grift coin. Nobody.
Well, these 220 guys want some of it. I think they just wanted to impress him. So the 220
What kind of money are we talking about?
Well, hang on, I got you. They they spent between, now get this wide margin. This is the number they gave, between 148 million to 394 million.
Wait, this is the total taken in or
per from the 220. From the 220.
So just from the 220 people.
Yeah, who got the invitation. They won. It was a competition.
Minimum, dude made 148 million.
Just for those guys.
Up to 300 and what?
394. And see, here's the thing, though. It's processed by Trump's crypto group, this World Financial thing.
So what happens
he's just
in the middle of that?
Tons of money processing this
the transaction fees.
Yes, the transaction fees.
Guys, what we talked about on the Trump crypto show a few weeks ago. Yes, this is it. Those fees.
Yes.
Those fees are where he makes a ton of his money. And then on top of it, these guys put that much money into his cash. Like his like a cachet, like, you know, CACHE, a cachet.
So
his money.
Like we're saying, they spent between 148, 394 million because those numbers are so close together. I can see why they made that range. Now I've done the math for everyone, and that's an average of at the top, 394 million. That's an average of 1.79 million for each of those 220. But that's not even close. The ranges of investment is between 55,000 for the lowest. I guess that's number 220.
Oh, 221, $49,000 is all you get. Zero.
And top guy, 37.7 million. He invested in this coin.
I'm sorry. Listen. Jason,
yes.
Would you like to be a millionaire?
Sure, that'd be great.
I'd love to be a millionaire.
I wouldn't buy that crap.
$1 million in my bank account. It would be great to be a millionaire and be able to tell people, yeah, I'm a millionaire.
There you go. Hey, you know what? Everybody watching, why don't you start a GoFundMe to make me a millionaire? That'd be fantastic.
For Jason.
There you go.
Jason's GoFundMe,
Do
make
it.
him a millionaire. $37 million of money just sitting around that I have that I could use for
almost
anything.
38.
I could go buy packs of cigarettes with that. It's just money laying around, evidently, because I can take it from here and put it there, make nothing off of it for myself. Trump gets a bunch of transaction fees off of all of it. I get to have a cool plate of dinner at not Mar-a-Lago. And when it's all said and done, ladies and gentlemen, Trump's still a lying grifter.
So we got more here. So the top 7 spent over $10 million each.
$10 million each.
With the bottom 24 spending $100,000 each. So the last guy, the 25th guy, he spent the $55,000. So this thing it's pretty top heavy with the investments. The top people, it's them that supplied most of the investing.
That's fair. Could I give an analogy that I feel would be appropriate here, so that people understand what the value of a 5 or a 10 million is? Jason, you're a baseball fan.
I am.
You got a Cubs hat on there.
True.
So when we like to talk sports every once in a while, we get little analogies, things like that pop up. You remember when that one guy decided to take the money from New York and go down to Texas to play baseball?
Oh, yeah.
How much money?
It was only like,
$250 million over how many years?
It was like 10.
10.
Yeah.
Now, the Yankees offered him $5 million less than what Texas offered him. $5 million less. So 245 over 10 years or 9 years or whatever it was, less than the 250 for 10. $5 million. Was the difference between Alex Rodriguez staying where he was at and going down to Texas and playing for 10 years down there.
And he still ended up with the Yankees.
Did he go up to the Yankees? No, he went to Texas.
Yeah, and then he got traded to the Yankees.
But he was in Texas. That's where he signed the contract for 220. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
$5 million was the difference for him between playing as the Yankees at the time or going down to Texas. That is crazy. That is nuts. $5 million was enough to make him literally switch his whole career. And this is a dude getting $250 million put into his bank account for the next 10 years. Why would that $5 million matter? Because $5 million is a lot. So if the top 7 are spending $10 million each, that is a lot of money for the normal person to understand.
So here's where it gets a little murky. So one of the big investors is Singapore-based startup Memecore.
Okay.
All right. They put in $17 million. So, but most of the attendees of the dinner were foreign investors because nearly half used foreign exchanges that are banned in the U.S. They weren't using what the U.S. considers, I guess, appropriate.
Sure.
So they were foreign investors. Now, let's be clear. This was a grift. This was a competition to get investors buying a coin with no actual value. They were competing against nobody.
That's right.
So Trump and his family could make millions of dollars in transaction fees. That's why they've done all this. There's no way in hell Republicans would have remained silent if Joe Biden did this exact same thing.
No way.
If he made a coin, say he made
not.
a coin for his son Beau, which would be appropriate, they would freak out. And then he had a competition, and whoever invested, they were able to meet him in private. Over and over, this man shows us that he's a danger to this country and the world. But Republicans, they sit by and do nothing because, well, grifters are going to grift.
No, it's not just Republicans. Liberals are sitting by. AOC, I don't care about 2028 and if you think you can run or if people think you might run or this, that, and another. I don't care. It's 2025. Gavin Newsom, I don't care about 2028 and if you're popular and you might be able to pull it off. It's 2025. Hakeem Jeffries, I don't care about 2028 or you're trying to get back into the Senate or any of this or Congress or anywhere. I don't care. It's 2025. Somebody needs to stand up, period, as an adult in the United States of America together. The Supreme Court should be talking to Congress, right? I understand separations of powers. Trump is literally throwing all of this by the wayside. He's not listening to the Supreme Court. The court should be talking to Congress right now, discussing what is happening and how they are going to find ways to figure this out, because he is literally eradicating all of their normal laws and norms.
Well,
all of it.
He just takes whatever the courts say, and his administration pretend that what the court says isn't what it means.
Or it doesn't matter.
Habeas corpus. They just pretend this means that President Trump can get rid of anyone he wants to.
Or 9-0. I'm just not going to listen to you at all.
Yeah,
I just won't do it at all.
Oh, you said facilitate. I can't facilitate it. He's in another country. Oh, geez, I can't do that.
I don't know how to pick a phone up.
It's absolutely ridiculous what is happening.
Stupid. It's really stupid. By the way, Washington Post,
yes,
their analysis since the beginning of the meme coin sales in January, 355 million in sales alone.
Sheesh.
That's a lot of money, guys. $355 million is just sitting around for Trump to go grab and use however he wants. And by the way, he is president of the United States currently. There are clauses that state you can't do this.
Yeah, one of them begins with an E.
The emoluments clause. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to gain financial wealth from the position of president of the United States. When you took it and promoted it on the official White House account and then talked about it to cameras as president of the United States and introduced yourself as, I'm Donald Trump, the president of the United States, to talk about it, you were using the position of president to lie to the people and get them to buy your coin. Now Jason's wearing that Cubs hat for no reason whatsoever. We have no idea why he does it every show, and he hates you for it. Look at him. Look at his face. This man hates you.
I think we know why I wear this. I think it's pretty well stated.
What's that?
I'm a Cubs fan.
You live in St. Louis, Missouri.
I wasn't born here, though. See, that's a weird rule.
You're
that
from
St. Louis people,
Iowa.
People watching St. Louis have a weird rule that if you live here, you have to wear a Cardinals hat. I hear it all the time.
No. You don't have to wear a Cardinals hat.
No, they always say, you have the wrong hat on. You live here now. I did not know. That was not in the brochure when we moved here.
That's fair. That's fair. Metro, how long we got over there, buddy? How many minutes are we looking at? Really? I see. I see what you decided to do. Okay. Well, Jason.
Yeah, I've got some dumb things that Trump has said in the past. It's
you have?
Well, we're hitting on what we were talking off the air.
I love dumb things.
The White House is no longer providing transcripts for anything Donald Trump says. So now you have to rely on news agencies to transcribe his talks, his speeches, his press conferences, anything.
We have to rely.
In the Oval Office.
The least transparent president of all time claims to be the most transparent, the biggest transparent.
If you can't read it, apparently you're not going to know he's completely stupid because.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So you got some.
This is just a few things. It's not even the dumbest stuff he has because some of the dumbest things he has is so long.
This is Trump. Love to hear him.
This is Trump talking about AI. AI
A1.
on the campaign trail. I keep confusing it.
It's A1 learning, guys. A1.
So, but the old A1, it takes tremendous amounts of electricity. It's going to kill the eagles.
Wait a second. He said it takes tremendous amounts of electricity.
Yeah, hang on. He says more. It's going to kill everything because you need so much electricity for those servers and everything else. Dumb fucking idiot, man. Doesn't that piss you off, people watching? If you're a MAGA person, let's say I said that Joe Biden said that. That would piss you off. You would be so pissed off that someone so stupid said something so dumb, but you pretend that this doesn't exist. You pretend that this isn't real, that this man says this nonsensical shit every goddamn day. Every day. It's fucking infuriating. It truly is.
Praise
it
be
truly
to Jesus.
is. True praise to Jesus.
Praise be
This is a classic one. This is also from the 24 campaign. I say, what would happen if the boat sank from its weight and you're in the boat and you have this tremendously powerful battery and the battery's now underwater and there's a shark that's approximately 10 yards over there? By the way, a lot of shark attacks lately. Do you notice that? I watched some guys justifying it today saying, well, they weren't really that angry. They bit off the young lady's leg because of the fact that they were not hungry, but they misunderstood who she was. These people are crazy. What? You voted that man in after he said that in public. Shame on you people. Shame on MAGA. This is ridiculous. This is just one after the other. Hey, you want to know what genius Mr. Historian thinks about the Declaration of Independence? This is from a recent interview.
Okay,
he was asked about the significance.
significance
of.
You might rip the table apart.
Hey,
you're getting
I got a little.
You're getting a little into it.
I got a little
I get it.
juice of
Listen,
you.
I don't mind if you get
Normally
into it.
you're a
I
little
like
more
it when
animated.
you get into it. Listen, I don't mind if you get a little animated. We get into it. But if you flip the table like the Hulk, it's going to be tough for us to keep doing the show. That's all I'm saying. It's going to be tough.
So he was asked about the significance of the Declaration of Independence.
Okay.
Real quick, what would you say? The significance.
The significance of the Declaration of Independence?
Like maybe forming our country?
Yeah, it's basically a guideline of laws and rules for us to live by here in the United States.
Tells you what we think.
Kind of helps us figure things out.
Well, this is what he says. This is what Genius says.
What's Big League Genius say?
It means exactly what it says. It's a declaration. That was transcribed because he said that.
Okay, now, Jay.
Yes.
Jay, stop there for 1 second. Ride with me on this.
Let's do it.
Let's go back to what we talked about earlier on the show with Carolyn Levitt. Very literal in the way that they try to handle things.
Yes.
It's the Declaration of Independence is, it's a declaration of independence. And they weren't asking that. They were asking, what does it mean? What does it physically mean? Now, is he wrong? No. When Carolyn Levitt says there was pictures on the screen of crosses,
no, he's right.
And those crosses represented things, we go, you're correct. We saw the TV too. They had crosses on it, and those do represent things. Not the things that we said. That's what we're talking about. But the TV does exist. In this case, the Declaration does exist. It says Declaration and Independence in the title. So you are correct.
Way to go, Donald.
That's
so sorry.
not what we're talking about. Once again, I want to answer the question I asked, not the question you asked.
Here's a doozy from when he was first president in 2017. Sure. He was asked about U.S. relations with Russia. And this is what he says. Do you know what a uranium is? Right? It's this thing called nuclear weapons and other things, like lots of things that are done with uranium, including some bad things.
Some bad things are done with uranium?
You voted for him. You voted for him then. You voted for him in 2020, but you lost. You did it again.
Jason,
he keeps saying these things.
Jason, you didn't vote for him, right?
I did not.
I did not vote for Donald Trump either.
I did not. Not
Neither
once.
one of us voted for Donald Trump.
I didn't do that.
We host that show up there.
Yeah.
That show. This one.
That's
the show we host.
I host the normal person show.
Yeah, listen, this is a show of normalcy. This is a show of laws and law enforcement. This is a show of smart, educated people who went to college. Who don't mind if a person of color goes to a college and gets educated. Great. We don't mind if a person of color gets a job and they do it well. We don't care about others. All we care about is that we're able to do what we want to do on a day-to-day basis without raping, killing, murdering, hurting any other human beings at all on this earth, and then do it again. That's it. Like, just continue to live our lives like normal. Maybe I want to go pick up basketball tonight.
And you know what's funny
Maybe
about
I'll go pick up basketball. I'm a tall guall.
About all of this immigration stuff and everything. Do you know who fills the outdoor tents outside of Mexican restaurants on May 5th? It's all MAGA guys.
It is.
It's all MAGA. They love to celebrate Cinco de Mayo with you. But get out of the country when it's over.
It's not even it was made up here in the United States mainly.
Well, it's their Independence Day.
It's their Independence Day,
not ours.
Technically. But the only reason it's done here is to sell beers at Mexican restaurants.
We don't care about that.
White dudes who wear MAGA hats or even who wear other hats.
Oakley's, jean shorts, and white Nikes.
All of it. Like, it doesn't, or New Balance. It doesn't matter. They literally just want to drink beer.
But you know what Donald Trump is? Donald Trump is
what he is.
You know, here's what he is. We like to put Donald Trump into the daily life. If you can do that, maybe you can see past that you love him. Maybe you can see the idiocy. But what he is, he's the guy that knows he can't do something. So he makes excuses before it even begins. So let's say, like, if everyone was going to run, we're all going to run, we're going to jump over this hole. There's a hole there. It's like a 3-foot hole. Well, his out of shape ass, he ain't going to do that. So he's going to start making up this sports injury that hit his knee. Be like, oh, we're going to do this? Oh, I sure hope my bad knee can hang out. So he's already prefaced that he's got a bad knee.
Yep.
So when he runs and falls and looks dumb, he can go, I told you I had a bad knee.
You guys all saw this. It was
That's
a
him.
movie. There was a whole movie. It was called Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Did I do that? Remember? Did I do that? Like, he just stands there, did I do that? Like, he knows he did it. It was right there. He looked stupid. He fell off the bike, but then it was, did I do that? Because I want to feel like, now, Jason, here at Occupy Democrats, we know that there is a thing called Trump level stupid. Okay?
There is.
And you just described a few things from Trump
I'm done reading.
level stupid
He's so
right
stupid.
there. But I have some things that people found out about their significant others.
Ooh.
And I feel like these fall into Trump level stupid.
Ooh,
would you like to hear some of these?
I love stuff like that.
All right. So this person said, my boyfriend asked me if they speak British in Britain.
And then my boyfriend said, we're breaking up.
But obviously they speak British in Britain. Like, we speak
American
English
here.
American in America, right? Like, that sounds like a Trump
Mexican,
thing.
duh.
Sure. This next one. He thought an egg came out when someone finished their period, like, a chicken egg. Like, he thought that chickens, the only time they would have that is if it had, like, a period, a chicken egg.
Here's this.
And that's how it always had. Their egg always comes out, like, even with human beings.
Another egg.
The woman, but also the woman creates an egg to have a baby. Like, at least the same idea.
Does he know, like, you can't actually see those?
Could that be Donald Trump?
Small.
Could that be Donald Trump?
He probably thinks that.
It could be Donald Trump. Let's try this one. Hey, Jason. Could this be Donald Trump? He thought turtles took off their shells to make love.
What? Why would you even?
We stayed together for 5 years.
You know what?
He thought they took off their shells to make love.
I have never thought in my life anything about turtles banging.
Nope.
Like, not
I've
one
seen
time.
a video. No, I've seen the famous video that
I guess I
famous
have
video.
seen that. Yes, I have seen
that. Was a meme back in like
07,
06, 05 or whatever. Like, I've seen that, but like outside
I
of
totally
that, like,
watched that. I'm sorry.
Who cares about turtles having sex
Finally.
except for a zoologist, right?
Yeah, that would be the only. Maybe some real freak.
This one said she ran the dishwasher without putting in any soap.
Well, that's as a 51-year-old man, I can tell you. That's not that crazy.
It's not crazy because as an old guy, we might forget to put the soap in here and there.
I've put bread and other things in the fridge. I've taken mayonnaise and put it with the dishes. So,
ladies and gentlemen, I am not proud of this, but at one point in my life, I did open the refrigerator up and pee into it on accident, like, because I thought it was the bathroom. I was like,
you were probably asleep.
I don't know, 13, 14 years old. I had no idea.
That's just cool stuff.
I literally, that actually happened.
That's
my mom
that
and
heavy
dad,
metal
it was
music.
crazy,
That's what makes
crazy
you do
situation. Obviously, never did that again, but still, like. The idea that opening the refrigerator, the light comes on, and you're like, I'm in the bathroom now.
I'm just going to go pee right here.
But you're so tired. No, you can't. See how dumb it sounds when you try to explain it out? You can't.
Nah.
You're just Trump and you peed in the refrigerator. And everybody's like, no, you peed in the refrigerator. And he goes, yeah, did you guys notice I opened the door and it's a fridge? And then the light came on and then I peed. And we go, yeah, that's not the problem. The problem is the overall. You shouldn't do this.
You know, I had a party one time and a friend of mine peed on my bedroom door.
A friend of mine, you know Matt Kruger, right?
I sure
do.
You
know Matt.
I do.
My buddy Matt, he famously at a house party fell out of the second story window, like he was leaned up against it, hanging out,
I did
like
that as a
drinking
child.
beer. Fell out the second story window backwards, straight down 2 stories to a bush, landed on his head and got up. And I was like, that's crazy. That's just a crazy story.
I did the same thing when I was like 3 years old.
Just fell out of a window?
Second story window into some bushes.
That is not, listen.
My bones were a little rubbery then.
There's only one story that we've ever heard about a kid falling out of a window. And most of us know that story and we don't talk about that story too much.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the story we
made
all
a
want.
song about it.
We just moved on with that. All right, last one before we get out of here on the show. When he missed his daily medication, he threw it out instead of just saving it for the next day. Like just, I didn't take this pill.
This pill's old.
This pill's old, useless. Like just the whole bottle, just instead of saving it for the next time, just throwing them away each time.
That guy's got too many pills.
All right,
Must be
ladies
nice.
and
That's how the
gentlemen,
other half lives.
It has been a hell of a show. We appreciate every single one of you out there. Make sure you follow us at Occupy Democrats on all of our social media channels. That guy over there, he goes by a different name. What's your name over there, sir?
Featherbanks, but my name is actually
there.
Jason Cole. It actually says that name on the front if you try to.
Yeah, there it is. Featherbanks. Spelled like that.
Yeah.
I'm at Mark Bland. Find me on Twitter, wherever. And that's going to do it for us here on this episode of Occupy Democrats.
Yeah.
We will see you guys
Have a great Memorial Day, everyone.
Yes.
We won't be here.
Memorial
we'll see you
Day.
Wednesday.
Have a good one. Be a patriot.
Yeah, burn
Have
something.
a beer for us.
Set something on fire.
Yeah, set something on fire.
Right. I know it's not 4th of July.
Well, that's coming up. We'll
it's
be
a
there.
holiday. There's American flags around. Burn
We'll be
something.
back. Oh, by the way, we're not doing a show on Monday,
That's
so
right.
have yourself a great Memorial Day. We'll see you guys next time on Occupy Democrats.